Yeah, I know. It was pretty exciting. Okay, I gotta go because this, while it's very, 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 very astounding and overwhelming.
That's a pretty cool trophy.
Yeah, isn't that a pretty cool trophy? I'd like to thank the Academy for their consideration. Isn't that pretty cool?
What's that from?
That is that's a basketball trophy, the CEBL championships there, right there, mate.
That looks,
yeah,
we're kind of heavy.
Yeah, you're on TV too now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and again, I'd like to thank the Academy. Wow, this is an honor. No, it's not mine. It's not mine. But we're going to be talking about this soon. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 20 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. And we're going to get inside Fiddler's Poorhouse here really fast after I tell you that we are fueled by Gale's Gas Bars. We are supported by Sandra's Home Healthcare, as well as Verge Insurance Group, Ace Alignment, as well, of course, of Equal Wellness, and we are powered by WeeStream. Now, because I normally open the door for my friend Kevin, I gotta hold this. This is a damn heavy trophy, but it's so cool. And we're gonna talk about this in a few minutes. Come on in. Okay. Also, the South Shore search and rescue people are looking for volunteers. Want to be one of those? We'll tell you how to do that. As well as, a bunch of other stuff. I got to put this down because I'm not anywhere nearly as young as I used to be. Okay. All right. Wow. That is some honking trophy. Okay. There we go. Oh yeah, I got to move back here so we can get set up. You know, it would be a lot easier if I just won an Emmy or an Oscar, because you can kind of hold those in one hand. This sucker is big. Wow. Whew. Welcome to another beautiful summer day. Well, actually, it's pretty close to a fall day, but anyway, we'll be back in 30 seconds. All right. Yeah, I know. I look like one of the Blues Brothers today, don't I? Oh man. Welcome. Yeah, sorry for the rather jittery opening there, but do you have any idea that thing had to weigh 50, 60 pounds that were coming in there? Kevin, Jack, ladies. Oh, welcome to Fiddlers, by the way. As I said, Season 5, Episode 20 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. So many things are going on around Niagara and have gone on in Niagara over the last little while. But I think before we proceed with the planned parts of the program, we'll check on a couple of stories that are local and fairly recent. And both of them kind of on the downside of the emotional spectrum. A really unfortunate death is being investigated by homicide detectives. The scene of the crime is Welland, and this goes back to just yesterday, 10:30 in the morning, just a little more than 24 hours ago. The regional police attended a residence in the area of Broadway, and I've never really remembered how to pronounce that, Kevin. Pites Avenue? Pete's?
I'd go Pete's.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm not deep well enough to know.
Yeah, as well. We could scroll up a little bit there, bud. Thank you. In response to an assist ambulance call, officers arrived on the scene with Niagara Emergency Medical Services, located an adult male with life-threatening injuries. The male was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced deceased. Summer E. Etherden, 19 years old of Welland, was arrested, charged with the offense of second-degree murder contrary to Section 235 of the Criminal Code. NRPS Homicide Unit has taken carriage of the investigation. Area residents can expect a continued police presence in the area while they investigate. Many comments have been forthcoming on Niagara 411 since this was made public, and it would appear that this 19-year-old mom allegedly killed her boyfriend / mother of the child. And of course, as always, members of the public are encouraged to forward any further details that they may have to Niagara Regional Police Services. Cheryl insists, so very sorry for his family's loss. May he rest in paradise. Girl has a baby too. What is the world coming to, etc. And many of the comments follow along that same line. This guy says, justice for Mattie. Not only did she leave her son without a mother, but she also left his son without a father. Truly sad, so sad how much violence there has been in Niagara lately. She'll be out in a forum, you know, there's always those people that say, oh yeah, slap on the wrist and out she goes. Those comments are almost always
Here's a sad
there.
one from Tiffany as it was playing out. You know, is Maddie okay?
Yeah, and Manny was not really okay. Tiffany Huskins, he did die. I'm dating his cousin. All his family is heartbroken, as any family would be, of course. And of course, a lot of people were responding to Tiffany because at the time that she posted that, of course, she had no idea what was going on. And as the comments get older, of course, they're going to be a little less informative because that's how the timeline on these things go.
Yeah,
sad.
Just absolutely heartbreaking, Lee, to know that there's two young people in question here. I mean, they say that the lady that's in custody is herself 19, a mother. Through the comments, you want to learn that Maddie, the deceased, is
Probably
you would think similar age.
in the same generation. It's young people in a family situation. You wonder how equipped people of that age are to deal with the typical highs and lows that come with being parents, come with being partners, come with trying to make ends meet, trying to pay the bills, trying to have food, trying to have your own recreation. I mean, these are young people. And there's no, as we always used to say when we were young parents, it doesn't come with a rule book. It doesn't come with a how-to manual. You are in the situation you are in, and you never intend bad things to happen, but sometimes bad things do. And our condolences to the families of both sides of that family, and we hope that the daughter involved, the child involved, is going to be well looked after, because there's a lot of hurt and heartbreak yet to come, and that's unfortunate. Kevin, another one, another story that has really struck chords around Niagara is a situation that occurred at a Niagara Falls daycare center. And even one of our sponsors, Jessica Friesen from Gales Gas Bars, pointed this out. She's a well-known mother and business leader in the family, and parents of a feather flock together, as they say, and we all have the desire for our offspring, our children, our grandchildren, nieces, nephews to be safe in a place where they are supposed to be safe. That's why we pay money to places to look after our youngsters, because you go to work or you go to wherever it is you have to do that day with the knowledge, that knowledge deep in your heart, that trust in your heart that your child is going to be safe. and not exposed to harm. And unfortunately, that's not always the case. On Friday the 13th, just this past Friday, detectives with Child Abuse Unit with the Niagara Regional Police Service began an investigation into a serious assault that occurred at the Way to Grow daycare on Valley Way in Niagara Falls, involving a child attending daycare. As a result of the investigation, detectives determined a 26-year-old male employee at Way to Grow daycare choked and assaulted a child under the age of 5. The child sustained injuries as a result of the accident. And then on Tuesday, meaning yesterday, Matthew Maxwell, 26 years old, of St. Catharines, arrested and charged with the offense of aggravated assault. Maxwell was held in custody pending a bail hearing. That's expected to take place on September 18th at the Robert S.K. Welch Courthouse in St. Catharines. Detectives have reason to believe, and here's the, not that that wasn't bad enough, which of course it was, they have reason to believe there may be more victims. Because the reason they think this is prior to being at the Way to Grow daycare, Maxwell was employed at the Niagara Nursery School and Child Care Center in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And they're just wondering, of course, by extension, as to whether this is the, hopefully not, tip of a pretty treacherous iceberg. Anyone with information, of course, as per usual, to contact Regional Police at 688-4111. And again, this has sent shockwaves around the community because of what I mentioned earlier, is that when parents engage in care for their children, the ultimate expectation, the very basic expectation, is that your child is not going to be exposed to harm while under the care of the people you pay. And when you realize that there's a possibility that that might not be the case, all bets are off. Now what? What's happening? Not at this location, but what's happening at, my kid doesn't go there, but what could be happening at that daycare? What could be happening at this? And I'm not casting any shadows or shade on any other daycare facility, but these are the things that go through parents' mind. If it can happen there, where else could it be going on? How are these people that we are hiring, how are they screened? How are they hired? And again, this is an alleged crime, but someone was arrested in relative to this incident. And so many questions. I mean, it explodes with the number of questions that are involved here. And again, we feel for the mom and all the other families that have children that are in care on a regular basis. It's like, oh boy, we better pay attention now to where we are. And I suppose it's truly unfortunate that something happens at one facility, from one person at one facility, that other facilities come under scrutiny. Perhaps that's unfair, but that's the way people think, and that's the world we live in. Kevin, we had a comment from the mom as well, and I thought that we would close this piece out with this. This was on a Facebook proprietary group called Moms Niagara, and this is the mom of the child in question in this story. My heart is in shatters to find my beautiful daughter endured physical abuse from an ECE at her daycare last Friday. We're in utter shock and disgust to see how her daycare could physically harm an innocent child when they're supposed to be their protectors. I would like to warn all parents whose children are still attending this daycare. It is absolutely disgusting how they failed to provide me with the truth about what happened that day and how my daughter endured serious injuries on their negligence. Please send your heartfelt wishes as we fight for justice on her behalf. So that's That's for the mom. Okay.
Lee, before we go any further here on the show, let's remind people to share the program.
Let's do that. Now, if you're following this, as you probably are, if you're following it at all, you're following it on Facebook and you're following it on Niagara 411 Live. And if you're doing that, all you have to do is refresh your page to make sure that you've got the current version of the stream, and then hit share right at the bottom of the post. Just hit share and then share now. See, there we are right there. Share now, boom, and then let me just see if I can do that. Every now and I'm out here, my computer tends to slow down a little bit, so I won't even bother. But Kevin's doing it for you.
Yeah, but encourage people to do that. We appreciate you doing that.
We do appreciate it, because that helps us and you share important information around Niagara with all the other Niagarans, which of course is the mandate of this program, which is fueled by Gales Gas Bars, supported by Sandra's Home Health Care, Virgin Insurance Group, ACE Alignment, and Equal Wellness Services. Okay, are we gonna move on to our pal Mitchell now? I think we are. We're going to explain this beautiful trophy that is behind us. You saw a little bit of us at the beginning as I was struggling to haul an 800-pound championship trophy around on St. Paul Street in St. Catharines. Well, that is because the Niagara River Lions are the champions of 2024 Canadian Elite Basketball League play. The ultimate champions, one in pretty spectacular fashion, and that is up behind me here. That here, right there. That is the fabulous trophy, and boy, it's substantial. It looks substantial on TV and on the feed, and let me tell you, it is. Mitchell Lyons, believe it or not, that's his name. Mitchell Lyons, Lyons, I think, Mitchell?
That's correct. That's right.
just to eliminate any confusion, is Director of Group Ticketing and Fan Engagement with the Niagara River Lions basketball team of the Canadian Elite Basketball League. First of all, Mitchell, welcome to the program. Glad you could make it in. And Mitchell is live with us, by the way, right here at Fiddler's Poorhouse. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you so much for having me. We appreciate you guys having us out.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I remember a number of years ago, I guess it was 2017, that I first talked with the owner of the Niagara Falls, or the Niagara River Lions, Richard Petco. He's the brainchild behind not only maybe the River Lions, but also sort of this league, correct?
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, he was here in Niagara, a local Niagara resident, and he thought to himself, how cool would it be? You know, there's kind of a missing gap of a Canadian basketball league, right? It's one of the biggest growing sports in Canada. You've got the CFL, that's Canadian-wide, and there's kind of a gap for basketball. And so he thought to himself, I'll start a basketball league across Canada.
I mean, there had been some sort of pseudo-professional basketball activity in Canada, but nothing really organized and focused on making this thing a big deal. But this has been a big deal since, 2019 was the inaugural season.
That's correct, yeah, 2019. So over those 6 years, the league has just grown and grown. We started off with 6 teams. We're now all the way up to 10. Originally it was 20-game season. Now it's 24. We're now broadcast on TSN, which is fantastic. So the league is just expanding and growing, and it's really, really exciting to be a part of.
And I don't know if a lot of the people, I hope a lot of the people that are viewing this stream today of this program have been to a River Lions game. But if you have not, you got to go, because it's worth twice the admission price. Believe me, it's a lot of fun. The excitement is there. It's a great level of basketball activity. I mean, these guys are good. it's good. It's good b-ball.
Yeah, it's really cool to see some of these guys even move on to the NBA. So these guys are right on the edge.
Now, you were playing Vancouver, correct, for the championship?
That's right, up in Montreal.
What's the name of the Vancouver team? I forget.
Vancouver Bandits.
Right. Okay. So there's an interesting wrinkle, and I want to get into that because people that have watched the game, a Riverlions game or a CEBL game, may be a little confused. But there's this thing called a target score element that's in these games. Can you explain that to me?
Absolutely.
In layman's terms?
I will do what I can. All right. So with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, the following dead ball, timeout, whatever it is, there's a timeout called.
Yeah.
They take away the 4 minutes, and instead what they do is they look at the score at that time. So if the score is, say, Riverlions are up 86 to 78, they're going to add 9 points to that 86. And so therefore the target score will be 95. The first team to score 95 wins. There's no longer a time limit. There's no more fouling, dribbling the ball out, anything like that. You play basketball right to the end.
They don't call fouls?
Oh, they call fouls, but you're not trying to foul.
You're not
the
trying
other
to
team.
play the clock.
Yeah, you're not trying to draw the clock out. Exactly.
Okay. So how does it become 9 points? Is it just the difference between the teams at the time, or is it just always 9 points?
It's always 9 points. They found that was the perfect amount that would keep it more, on average, more or less that 4 minute time period.
Yeah.
It's always 9 points added to the leading score.
Now, the final series that you played with Vancouver, was that a best of something?
No, it was a winner take all.
So it was a winner wins, loser loses.
Exactly. Yeah, winner
One
go
game.
home. One game.
One game.
Taking place at Championship Weekend in Montreal, which is a really cool thing that the league does as well, where the final 4 teams all go towards a host city, and that city will host the last 3 games of the playoffs, the 2 semifinals and then the finals.
Okay, walk us through the last minutes of the game.
So, going into target time, the River Lions...
This is what we're doing. I think we've got it on the screen now.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so the River Lions up 10 points going into target time. When, again, with continuing to play basketball...
So we were tied at 95-95 on the screen. Sorry to cut you off,
Yeah.
Mitch, but we saw that they were tied at 95-95. How do you get there?
Again, because there's no time, it means that while River Lions were up by 10 going into target time, they had only scored 8 of the required 9 points, where Vancouver had scored 18 points to catch almost all the way back up to win the game, right? So that way, all of a sudden, it's 95-95. Next point wins.
Oh, so you've got to score 9.
You have to. The go-ahead so the team that's ahead at target time gets 9 points added to their score. So if it's 86-78, all of a sudden the target score is 95. But that team that has 78 has to get to 95. So you still have to score to that 95 target.
How do you end up with a tie, though?
The target score for that one was 96. So it was 95-95. Just so happened that target score was 96.
Okay, that's where the confusion came in. So they were both at 95, which is cool because 96 is the winning score, and then the River Lions got a double, and there you go.
That's right.
Okay. Wow. That makes for an interesting perspective on the game because most of us that do follow either be it college or the NBA basketball, which are the 2 big things that even Canadians follow until now, that's something foreign to us. Where did this target score idea come from?
So it actually came from our COVID season in 2020. So we were working with CBC at the time, and they had allotted some time for our games to be nationally broadcast, but they only had so much time. So they had a 2-hour slot set aside for CEBL games.
Okay.
Now, if the games went over 2 hours, they had other programming that didn't allow them to show the overtime. So we didn't want to start showing these games, get to the exciting finish, and all of a sudden, boom, you're cut off, you can't watch anymore.
Right. So sports fans and aficionados will always tell you that they realize, as goes television rights and or exposure, goes the success of the league or the team. I mean, it's just part of the business of professional sport. So this was a compromise so that you can be assured pretty much of the fact that somebody that tunes into one of your games is going to be able to see the end of it.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, with the league being bigger and everything, we've got more flexibility. Working with TSN has been incredible, but we kind of fell in love with the target time, right? The ability to see a game-winning shot every single game, no matter what, is really exciting, right? It builds pressure, it builds anticipation in the crowd, it gets everyone really excited, no matter what the score.
And not everybody is a fan of it, because there are purists that say, well, it's sort of perverting, for the lack of a better word, the concept of how we're familiar with watching basketball played. But the concept is based, I think, on a pretty cool principle, in the fact that how many sports games do you watch? I mean, football, basketball, other team sports, where you're just fighting the clock and you're just waiting out the time. And that tends to get wearisome, because when you've got the last 2 minutes of a basketball game that take 20 minutes to play, people don't like that. I don't like that. It's the same thing with a football game. You know, when you're fudging your time and your possessions and your distance and all the rest of it just to wear down the clock, that does get annoying.
Yeah, so that kind of takes that aspect out of it. No matter what you're down by, you have a chance to come back, right? You could be down by 30, but there's no time limit, right? If you can somehow hold them off for, couple possessions, all of a sudden it's 20, it's 15, and the crowd's back into it, the players are back into it, and there you go.
I could ask you so many questions, but first of all, talk to me about this trophy that is over my right shoulder right now. Talk to us about the trophy itself. We were talking about that before airtime, and it's pretty cool.
It's really cool, right? We tried to put, obviously, basketball league with a Canadian spin. So we've got the ball going through the rim, and then the Canadian maple leaf all over it, right? Each maple leaf representing a different winner.
Right.
Soon one of which will be full eventually. Hopefully mostly River Lions, but we'll see. It's really, really neat.
And there's something you mentioned involved in this trophy. There's something included in the trophy from each of the markets or each of the provinces in which the teams are located that participate.
That's right. Yeah. So the original 6 teams, we tried to take a little bit of aspect from each city to incorporate into the trophy, which is really cool.
Now you say we've got 10. The original 6, we've got Saskatchewan and Vancouver. You run them down for us.
Pardon?
Run us down the cities that have teams now. The provinces.
Yeah, so now we've got, I'll start from east to west. Montreal, Ottawa, Scarborough, Brampton, Niagara, Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver.
Awesome.
How about that?
That is truly a nice national league that's operating. Canadian Elite Basketball League. So now talk to us about the players. We know they're high caliber players. I know they're high caliber players. I've watched the games, and these guys can play. We're not talking low end entertainment here. It's a good time when you head out to the Meridian Center to watch the guys play. Where are your players recruited from? How much of a smattering of Canadian versus international players do we have? Kind of give us an idea about where how the players figure into this.
Yeah, so part of the Canadian league, as we're a team by Canadians for Canadians, we have a mandate that 70% of the roster needs to be Canadian.
Okay.
There needs to be 2 Canadians on the floor for each team at all times. So each roster construct is up to 3 Americans and 1 international player, and then the remainder is Canadian. Now, the player quality is kind of that of just like half a step behind NBA. The majority of these guys are guys that, if you ever watch March Madness or college basketball,
sure, absolutely.
These are the guys that are playing in those games, right? The guys who weren't quite good enough to be one of those top 60 players drafted, but are with the right development and skills able to transition into the NBA, which we've had a number of.
I was going to say they are hopefuls or keeners, I guess, hopefuls or journeymen?
Absolutely, yeah. They're still fully professional. This is still their full-time job, is playing basketball, right? So it's not like they're just playing in their spare time. During the off season, they'll either be in the G League or they'll go overseas to Europe and play in one of the European leagues.
So now, I know this is a question that team owners and spokespeople don't like. However, these are questions that the public always wants to ask. And that, of course, comes down to contract negotiation, pay scales, those kinds of things. And I know there are people watching this, so I'm going to ask the question myself. What's the average salary that one of these guys makes?
So the salary cap for the CEBL actually this past season was increased. It was $8,000 a game. It's now $13,000 a game for your whole roster.
Okay.
So on average, most players are making about $1,500 a game. So
$1,500?
$1,500 a game.
Okay.
And then you times that by 20, and all of a sudden you're at $30,000 for the season.
Yeah, cool. Mitchell, I guess at this point in time, we would call the CEBL a qualified success, especially if you've expanded from 6 to 10 teams over 5 years since the ball first hit the paint. How does everybody at league headquarters and team owners, etc., feel about it? What's the buzz?
Oh, they absolutely love the direction that the league is going. Right, we're always striving to be better and better. We want to just do more and more, both in the community and across Canada. Even this upcoming season, we're going from 20 games to 24, right? So we're adding 2 more home games to every single market, and you do that because people want more basketball.
And the season runs from when to when?
So the season runs from May till August, with championship weekend usually coming around mid-August.
Okay. And ticket prices vary, I'm sure. Season tickets, I know you love to sell those. I mean, you're the guy in charge of ticket sales, right?
Absolutely.
What does a season ticket run me? I suppose it depends on what seat you're going to get.
Yeah, it does depend on the seat you're getting. Season tickets are as low as $240 a ticket. That includes all taxes and fees, so that's everything included, which boils down to $20 a game.
And the guys must like playing at the Meridian Center too. I mean, what a great venue.
Oh, they do. They say we've had a number of both opposing players and our players come into the arena even before the fans get there and say, this feels like I'm back in college in March Madness, and I know it's going to fill up, and I know the crowd's going to be electric. They really love playing in this arena.
That's awesome. And Vic is still your coach.
That's right, the winningest coach in CEBL history.
Yeah, that's very cool. He's a good man. We had a chance to interview him as well, and he really cares about his team and his players and his sport and his town, and it's just a great feather in the cap of him and the players. Richard and everybody else that's behind the team. Congratulations on a fabulous season and the championship, of course.
Thank you very much.
Anything else? Any parting words that I might have missed in my questioning that you want to throw at us before we kick you out of here?
Oh, that was fantastic. Yeah, if like you mentioned, we got some season tickets available. So if you're ever interested in that,
we find you online.
Find us online, absolutely.
Okay, and I'm assuming just a Google of Niagara River Lions will do it.
It's that easy. L-I-O-N-S, though.
L-I-O-N-S, yeah. Well, thank you, Mr. L-Y-O-N-S.
Thank you.
A pleasure to have you in the organization, and a pleasure to have you here at Fiddler's Poorhouse today on the program. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mitch. Mitchell Lyons. He is Director of Group Ticketing and Fan Engagement with the Niagara River Lions of the Canadian Elite Basketball League, and they are the champs. So that's awesome. And thanks for bringing the trophy down. Isn't that pretty? Look at the size of that sucker, Kevin. That's amazing. Wow. Okay, I do want to mention a few things. I want to mention, first of all, we have another guest coming up shortly. Doug Mepham is going to be joining us. Been with us before. He is a past leader as well, a past unit leader, as well as a spokesperson for GAMRU, the Grimsby Auxiliary Marine Rescue Unit, under the auspices of the South Shore Search and Rescue organization, and we're going on a bit of a recruitment drive. So Doug's going to be joining us to talk to us about that. It might be something that you or someone you know might really be interested in being a part of. It's a great organization. Amanda, they do good work and helpful work here in Niagara, especially over the course of these crazy, nice freshwater summer months in Niagara. But before we get there, I do want to go back to our sponsors and take a moment out to thank Gales Gas Bars for being our premier sponsor, as they have been for many, many seasons. Here now we're into season 5 and episode 20. Family owned and operated for 55 plus years. Niagara-based petroleum company that always has a community at heart. They've got 11 service stations, 4 convenience stores as well, Bob's Fast and Fresh Convenience, oil lubricant delivery. For all of your petroleum needs, it's pretty much a one-stop shop. And we always really do appreciate their constant support and contributions to the program. So thank you very much, Jessica Friesen and Gales. And Kevin gets a free hat once a year, so it's kind of cool. Also, Sandra's Home Healthcare Services, sometime in the near future, perhaps in the next show, we're trying to line up people from the overseeing regulatory body of home healthcare services in Niagara to chat with you about some new accreditation that has come into place for people in that business, and Sandra's is right up there at the top. And from hospital to home, 24/7 if necessary. They attempt to match their personal service workers with the client as best as possible so that we have more like a family member looking after your family member, and that's so important. They're one of the best, if not the best, in the Niagara region area, so we thank Sandra's Home Healthcare Services for choosing us as a conduit for their message. We appreciate that. Virgin Insurance Group, home, health, auto, personal insurance, life insurance, you name it. And the Virgin Insurance Brokers Limited can help you get the kind of coverage you need at the price that you can afford. Located once again here in Niagara, a born and bred Niagara company for decades and decades, located just over on Ontario Street in St. Catharines. Mark Shirk and the gang at Virgin Insurance always appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Ace Alignment as well has been with us now for quite some time. It just seems folks say they want to join us and pop on, and then before we know it, it's been months and months, and they've stuck with us, and boy, that's great for us, and I think it's great for them too, because we'll talk some numbers in a minute. Owner-operator of the company, Janice Purdy, her and her family have been owners of that organization for many, many years. Head mechanic Darren Miller, senior mechanic Matt Crompton are the guys to talk to. Located right downtown in St. Catharines on North Street. Just a small operation, but man, they have big-time service for you on North Street, just off Geneva, behind the Niagara Regional Police Service Station that's located at Welland in Geneva, just behind there. And also Audrey Wall and Equal Wellness Services. Thank you so much. Audrey Wall has been known as Niagara's foot nurse, the foot nurse, as if there was only one, but she's it. If there was one, she'd be it. Anything and everything to do with foot care, she knows what she's doing. But not only that, on top of that, she's expanded her business. She's located at 386 Vine Street in St. Catharines in a small strip mall there between Scott and Carleton in St. Catharines. And a holistic health care facility is what Equal Wellness Services is designed to become. And they have a couple of clinic rooms available if you are someone that is in that arena of healthcare. You can check them out. Recently renovated, beautiful, beautiful offices. I visit her about once every 6 weeks to get my feet looked after, and feels good. And it's good for you. Anyway, thank you to Audrey Wall, the foot nurse and Equal Wellness Services, for being here. Kevin Jack, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't had a chance to talk to him much today because we've been busy right from the start trying to juggle 80-pound trophies out on the street. Kevin,
WeeStreem. It's a handful. It's heavy.
It is.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it is. It is impressive.
It's a really nice trophy.
I just love looking at it. Look at
that. It's
that.
really nice.
That is gorgeous. And the basketball on top. What?
Let's take a close look at it.
You're gonna take the camera over? Okay, let's give it a little bit of a perusal because even the basketball that you can't see, it's just under the logo at the top of the screen. It's all sort of glittery and look, see, there's the Leafs. Look at this. Is that not the coolest? I mean, you look at some trophies around professional sports and you say, oh, wow, couldn't they have done a bit of a better job? But there you go. See, and there's where they they etch the winners' names and year of their championship in there. And it's so new to the Niagara River Lions that we don't have their name and the year 2024 on one of those gold Leafs yet. But that's going to be coming soon. As soon as we get it out of the bar, it'll probably be going over to get Niagara River Lions or Niagara 2024 etched into one of those leaves. There it is, the CEBL Division Trophy. That's awesome. League Trophy. Look at that. Nice. I don't know who exactly made it or designed it, who the artisans were, but good on you for doing that. That is one impressive. And again, nobody's going to steal it easily because it's too damn heavy. You're not going to just go grab that and run off down the street with it. That is for sure. That's cool. Thanks, Kevin, for doing that. That's awesome. So, what is WeeStreem up to now? What have you been? Oftentimes we get to the end of the program and we realize that we haven't talked about you.
Yeah, it was really nice. Last week, we were brought in to help out the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce as they were celebrating the Outstanding Business Achievement Awards.
Ah, yes.
And that was held live down at Harbor Estate Winery on Jordan Road there. Beautiful facility, way in the kind of the back acreage, which abuts the Jordan Harbor.
Right.
Nice venue there, terrifically catered, and congratulations to all the winners. And I don't want to necessarily say the winners for fear that I'm going to forget one.
Oh, you never want to do that. I'd like to thank.
Yes, exactly. So some really nice people out there, what have you. Lee, along those lines, and I just tuned in a second to the Emmy Awards on Sunday night.
Okay.
And know what they did Sunday, which I'd never seen them do before, and it makes a lot of sense, is when they went up to accept the trophy, it seems that all the nominees ahead of time had to submit a list of the people they wanted to thank. So as they went up there on the screen, they just put it out there in text. They would like to thank you. Like, oh my God, why have we not been doing this?
What a cool idea.
Yeah, why have we not been doing this?
Because now you don't have anybody under the spotlight forgetting someone's name. It's already there. It takes all the pressure off.
And maybe they can get to more of the meat and potatoes of their acceptance speech, right? Because sometimes, you chew up 65% of it, just kind of roll calling people's names that helped you get to where you are.
And again, once one of our local chefs won an Emmy Award.
I don't know if he did. Did he? I mean,
did
not
Matt
him personally.
win?
I don't think he won.
Did Matt not win personally, but his show?
Oh yeah, the show. The Bear won a couple of things.
Yeah, the
for
Bear
some of
did
the
well.
Other actors on the actors on the program.
Yeah, so congratulations, Matt.
Saw a nice shot there, and
yeah.
What else was I thinking? Then personally went to Darien Lake last night and saw three icons of kind of Americana folk rock.
Yeah.
John Mellencamp, Bob Dylan, and Willie Nelson.
Right.
And got to say, pretty impressive for those guys to still be on stage. I mean,
Well, pretty impressive for them to, other than Mellencamp, for Bob and Willie, it's impressive for them to still be breathing.
Yeah, Mellencamp is in his 70s, and then you had Dylan in his 80s, and Willie in his young 90s. Yeah, so thank you for those guys for coming around this way. So we can go in and see a couple of icons. They've only got one more show in this tour, so we're wondering if maybe we saw the second to last show, public show anyway, for both Dylan
it's
and
sad to say, but I mean almost.
And Willie Nelson.
I mean the gas tank on those guys is bobbing on empty.
Yeah.
Right about now.
Lee, I know you wanted to talk. We got Doug Mepham here from GAMRU. Want to get to that in a sec. You mentioned about looking back at some of the numbers and some of the figures, and there was one video in particular that I just wanted to draw more attention to.
And I mentioned that in relationship to our sponsors, who we just ran down a moment ago, and thanking them for their support. But the other thing that I wanted to do is the fact that the reason they continue to support us, one of the reasons they continue to support us, is the fact that it's incredible value for the money. We return the favor by the numbers, and we thank you that are watching this right now for being a part of this. And Nick at Niagara 411, hi Nick's mom, got to do that. And everybody in the Niagara 411 family for helping to support this program, because you come out in spades for Niagara 411 Live with Sterry. And just let's, Kevin, run down these numbers so people know where they're looking at.
Okay, so here you have just excerpts of our last show. So we're talking about the mentioned segment, 12,000 views on that. The discussion we had on bikes on sidewalks, and the discussion got pretty lively and pretty divided in the comment section there, 16,000 people. In case you missed it, post to Table Manners. David the DJ, 13,000 views on that. Stopping for school buses, we've got to do a better job.
26,000 views weighed in on that one.
Emma Van Dyke is a Paralympic swimmer from Port Colborne. She competed in Paris at the Paralympic Games, 4:45 a.m. So I got to admit, I didn't get up to cheer her on. But as soon as I did get up, I checked the results to see that she finished 10th overall, and only the top 8 made it through to the finals. So, but congratulations to Emma and her entire support crew and family.
Our point being here, and that there's one last week as well with.
Well, there's the show, 19,000.
The show itself was 19,000. So we're over the course of 2 weeks. Our 190-minute show here from Fiddler's Poorhouse garnered pretty close to 100,000 views. We're very pleased about that, and we're very thankful for your support. And every now and then you have to blow your own horn, as they say, so consider our horn blowed.
And Lee, I just wanted to share this as well, that Ill Table Manners, real name David Sanvito, and his brother Adam Sanvito had created a GoFundMe and wanted to share it with people. So I want to share it with you. This is Ill Table Manners, DJ, turntablist. He was murdered, homicide investigation. There seems to have been no update. That doesn't mean that they're not working on it.
Have seen nothing. Haven't seen anything. He's
a father, as you can see there. So really, the crux of this is to raise money for Mason, and they're putting into an education fund.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you everybody for your support and continued participation. Anytime you want to reach out to us, you can find us through Niagara 411. As I mentioned, Doug Mepham, past unit leader and current official spokesman for GAMRU, the Grimsby Auxiliary Marine Rescue Unit. Doug Mepham with us now. Doug, how you doing today, pal? Good to see you. It's been I think it's been like a year and a half since I chatted with you.
It's been a while, but I'm grateful to be back. Thank you for the invitation. It's always good.
Yeah, happy to have you. Now, GAMRU falls under the sort of more umbrella auspices of the, South Shore Search and Rescue Association or group?
That's us, yeah. But that's the name that we apply because it reflects where we draw people from and where we serve, which is the whole South Shore and actually the whole of Western Lake Ontario. It's a bit of a misnomer, but that's as good as we can do.
Well, it's as close as you can get, or your title would be way too long. Tell us a little bit more, though, about GAMRU. For those people that may have not heard us talk about this before or had a chat with you, tell us about the organization as a whole, what your mandate is, kind of how it works, if you will.
Sure, happy to. Lee, we're a community-based, all-volunteer frontline emergency service. We provide marine search and rescue facilities for the whole of Western Lake Ontario. We're based at a facility in 50 Point, but we can be called anywhere. We've been in the lower Niagara River. We've been on the other side of Toronto, in Hamilton Harbor, Burlington, Bronte, everywhere. We are all entirely volunteers. We are self-funded. We fall under the umbrella of the Canadian Coast Guard Auxiliary, and we're dispatched by something called the Joint Rescue Coordination Center, which is a very clever dual federal agency that operates out of Trenton. They're the ones who call us up. They know who has the facilities, who has the resources, who has the training, and they dispatch us to rescues anywhere where we're needed.
And as I understand it, and thank you for reaching out, by the way, because we love to hear from organizations that need a hand from us, because we're always more than ready, willing, and able to help. in that situation, especially an organization as pivotal and volunteers, et cetera. You guys do, and ladies, do some amazing work. But thanks for reaching out to us, because you are in need of some more volunteers, I understand.
That's right, Lee. We like every organization, every volunteer organization, there's a traditional, predictable amount of churn. People who come, people who leave. This year's been particularly difficult, and it's not so much because of what has happened on the water, but it's happened to the lives of the people who are volunteers. So we take in new volunteers usually in January. They are with us for the winter training. They appear on the boat for the first time in the springtime, and they serve as part of crews for all year long. This year, for any number of good reasons, we've lost, or temporarily lost, a number of really good people. It's been family emergencies. It's been health. It's been accidents. It's been careers. People change jobs, get traded to the Boston Bruins, whatever happens. Right. So at the end of the year, we're struggling to have full crews again. Okay. It's not unusual for us, but it's been exceptionally active this year in terms of churn. And so now we're getting in front of that by starting our recruitment program for next year to have people in time for the beginning of the season. All right.
What are you looking for? What sort of skills, if any? What are the criteria for somebody that might want to think of joining your organization to help out?
Well, fairly simple. Need to be over the age of 18 and need to be prepared for a difficult marine environment. Let's face it, we're going out when everybody else is coming in. So that means rough weather, cold, hot, rainy, difficult situation.
Right.
And after that, we ask that people can learn, because a great deal of this is educational. We start with the basic skills, and we provide all of the training up to and including a complete, fully accredited marine rescue individual. So it's a time commitment, but we're happy to take people from any and all walks of life. And that's kind of one of the joys of this. We look like the communities we serve. There's the cop and the Brock professor. Okay. There's the landscaper and the real estate salesman, the student and the retired person. We cover the gamut, and you end up working with people you might not ever have otherwise encountered and have made fast friends. Obviously, sorry.
Sorry, Doug. Didn't mean to interrupt you, but I did. What is the time commitment in one of these situations?
Important question, and we try to be really transparent about that.
Yeah.
It is a significant time commitment. Obviously, the training in the wintertime is one night a week at the classroom. When we get on the water, it gets more elaborate. There is one night of training a week. Plus, if you're on a crew, when you're on a crew, you have one day that you're responsible for responding to an alert, and one weekend a month, which translates over the course of a season to one long weekend in the summertime. So you're going to be on the water once a week at least. You're going to be asked to respond to a page. It could be in the middle of the night. And you're going to have one weekend where you're going to spend some time on the boat, whether it's patrolling, training, maintenance, or just being there and ready.
When people come and talk to you about wanting to perhaps volunteer, because I think a lot of people find that pursuit kind of exciting. There's a bit of an adrenaline rush, I'm sure, under certain circumstances. Are there any particular skills that you would like to have on board, as it were?
There's a long wish list, Lee, but
okay.
we're practical. I think we're practical. First of all, again, ability to learn, but also to be calm in the middle of a stressful situation. Some of the rescues are stressful. And then to be able to be available. It's lovely if we can attract existing boaters. There's some skills that they probably already have, some seamanship, some navigation, knots and lines. But that's not necessarily required. Lovely case 2 years ago, we had a new young recruit with us for the whole of the winter training. We did shoreside training that year before they got on the boat. And it was finally time to get on the boat. This individual stepped on and said, well, this is the first time I've ever been on a boat. It turned out she was a great contributor and became a real asset to the organization. So we don't have any predilections about who's going to be a good candidate. They all prove themselves, and we're delighted to be surprised.
Now, you've got a, dare I use another phrase, a recruitment fair or open house or event coming up in October. Am I correct there?
Correct, yes. We'll have 4 events where people are going to be invited to come out and talk to us and learn more about this. 3 are in the Grimsby Stony Creek area. 1 is going to be in St. Catharines. And after that, we'll talk to people individually as well. We want to have people have an understanding of what they're up against before they come out. So we're asking them to contact our Director of Membership, David, who's a terrific guy and very fulsome in his explanations. They start by going to the website, gamru.ca, and from there they can go to information, and from there this contact to David. David will talk to them, give them data on where they need to be when for the information sessions, and then great. They'll get a chance to meet both some existing members and some new members who have just gone through, but they're about to go through.
That's good. GAMRU.ca. Very, very simple. Always good to be simple, when you're out there competing for the message to get through to your target audience. Simple is always good. GAMRU.ca, and all of this information is there. Yeah. Doug, how has your season been? This is a pretty timely moment for us to have a conversation, because it's about once a year that you and I, or someone from your organization and I, have a chat to talk about how the season was, because there are a lot of unsung heroes in the search and rescue operations that go on, and I know you're not in it for the notoriety, but you've told us some pretty interesting stories over the last couple of years. How has 2024 been?
So far it's been perhaps a little slower than other years. We just passed 28 rescue missions. It's been everything. It's one of those years where it's been everything from capsized vessels and people in distress on paddle boards to just disabled vessels, medical emergencies, and we've even had more than a fair share of people pulled off of pool toys on the lake.
Oh.
So it's a kind of very similar to other years. The volume is down, and
well, that's not a bad thing necessarily.
No, and at the end of the day, no, it's not. And there's all kinds of reasons. We have theories, no data, but it's down across the Great Lakes. I was talking this morning to a Coast Guard captain, and it's not just us. It's down across the Great Lakes, and there's usually conjecture. Is it weather? 3 or 4 wet weekends will keep people off the water. Is it fuel prices? Perhaps. Is it a larger economic question, whether it's employment or interest rates or something else? And we only look at these things after the fact. You can't tell what the season's going to be. So that's why we have to be fully staffed and trained, because you could have a banner year with 40 or 50 calls, or have a slower year. You have to be ready regardless.
And we would like to think one of the contributing factors to that is that perhaps people are becoming a little bit more, dare I say, smart with their endeavors. I don't want to go too far down that path, but hopefully people are a little bit more, let's use the word aware of maybe what proper behavior is on these lakes of ours.
We like aware, and it covers a gamut of things. Aware is good. In some cases, you'll find people who are new to boating sometimes are the first candidates to find themselves in trouble.
Yeah.
But it can happen to anybody. But awareness, weather, the condition of your vessel, and the skills of your crew and what you're going into.
Yeah.
And that starts, and from there, safety falls out of that.
Doug Mepham of GAMRU, thanks very much for joining us. As always, it's a pleasure. And I appreciate everything that your guys and gals do. And hopefully you'll be fleshed up with new volunteers before too long at all. Thanks for being here.
Lee, it's always a pleasure. Enjoy seeing you. Thanks for this.
All the best. Thanks, Doug. All right. Yes, pool toys and Great Lakes don't mix. And I'm sure that happens because people don't have experience with bodies of water as large as we deal with when we're dealing with Lake Ontario and Lake Erie, and well, all 5 Great Lakes, but the ones that we deal with, of course, Erie and Ontario. People that have never experienced the lakes really don't have a concept for how big and powerful these bodies of water are. So it's easy to get into trouble. And thank goodness the search and rescue teams are out there.
Now, Lee, they needed search and rescue Saturday night at Wreckfest out at the Merrittville Speedway.
What's with
Boy,
that?
I mean, you talk about a show. I'll let you take it from here. I got to get some of these videos.
I don't know all the details of it, but just sort of a thumbnail sketch. Cars on fire at Merrittville Speedway in Feulled. Fire department was arriving now, as per this post. This is like 3 days ago. The water truck did a great job helping out during Enduro. I don't know if we know how those fires were started.
So I went to Enduro Wreckfest last year.
Okay.
And it's a combination. So the Enduro, it's a real long race. I think the first one's like 100 laps. And the idea is they're kind of bringing out old clunkers. Like these are cars that once they're done the race, they're likely going to scrap them.
Okay.
You know, they got them just roadworthy and safe enough to get out there.
Just pushing them to the limit.
Absolutely. So you're not seeing, the finest. The numbers are on the side with some spray paint. They might have a stuffed animal riding
But we're not talking
shotgun
NASCAR here.
Oh, no. These are just guys having fun at Wreckfest. And then last year, anyway, I don't know if they did it this year, but they had Smash Up Derby.
Right, yes.
Demolition Derby with the school buses.
Right. So I guess it's anybody's guess, and it's pretty obvious that if a fire starts in one of these events, it's probably not beyond the realm of possibility. Nobody's going to be super shocked. But this one was pretty spectacular from what we understand, and nobody was hurt. And they managed to deal with the fires. All the comments were pretty positive.
Yeah, I mean, lots. I mean, there you go. There's.
Wow.
We got to get some of the videos. They showed this guy here climbed out of his trunk to get out of there. Let's see. I mean, here. Well,
that's the other amazing thing when they say nobody was hurt. I mean, if your vehicle catches fire, you're not sure how it's going to go up in flames, as it were. But it's.
So that's the first fire. Then watch this. Whoa!
Oh my gosh! Get out! Get out! Oh my gosh!
Oh my God!
Yay! I mean, I know we're kind of giggling at a kind of bad event, but that's sort of what people go for, is to be entertained by whatever the hell might happen. And you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so there's that first fire, way after that first turn. And then, as these cars stop, this guy, oh boy.
That's the, because nobody wants anybody to be hurt. Even watching it, even though the guy gets out, you're tense watching it again. Oh my God! Yay! Wow. What is it? Segue right to the highway, and another vehicle fire. Just this time not involved in any sort of race or demolition derby, although it seems like the Queen E has become a demolition derby these days, and other highways around Niagara. The number of accidents that are reported through 411, etc., are just unbelievable. There's the truck I'm talking about. How the hell does this happen? Why are these vehicles catching on fire? One of the comments when I was scrolling through there mentioned the fact that I don't think I've seen a car fire or heard about a car fire in years and years, and now they're catching on fire all over the place. And that kind of seems, I know it's a bit of an exaggeration, but not much. We hear about a lot of vehicle fires on our main thoroughfares, and I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Well, what about this guy, Lee? You saw this one?
Oh, yeah. I mean, what do you say about that?
I'm glad it was at the front of the car, you know?
Holy crap.
You're right about that.
Yeah. And on the yeah. Yeah, look at the load he's carrying. Ugh.
And that's identifiable. It's the Penn Center parking lot.
Yeah. Wow. And there was there've been tragic accidents. The motorcycle that went haywire on Highway 406.
Yeah, the one that took out that light post.
Yeah. And then a rollover just a day or so ago on 405 between the Queen Elizabeth and the Stanley cutoff there, the 405 that leads to the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge. Carnage along that stretch, and there's construction along there as well. There's a whole lot of construction continuing now. Maybe not on the exact side that this particular accident occurred, but I think that one was a rollover. Was it not, Kevin? Seemed to me that it was.
Well, there was this one too, which got a lot of comments, and she actually baited me into the conversation.
You did weigh in on that, and I thought you and I could have an interesting chat about this. Now, this was on the 406 as well, northbound. Highway 20 is the area, and there's been line blockages and narrowing highways in that area for quite some time now as they continue their maintenance work. But the great debate of the zipper function in traffic was raised again, and our close personal friend Kevin Jack here did weigh in on it because the rank and file of the comments seemed to think that it was because we had a lineup of people in one lane and people coming in from the other lane because the lane was going to disappear because of construction, and there's the zipper function, which means you get car, and you go back and forth until everybody gets into one lane. And there are expert views on how the zipper function is supposed to function, but there are a lot of opinions to the contrary as to how the zipper thing is supposed to function. Most people are pretty pissed when they're in line and somebody goes scooting by them on the right-hand side to cut in up farther. But, just so you know, the experts say that is exactly how that is supposed to go. You are supposed to have 2 full lanes all the way up to the point in question, and then the cars do the zipper one at a time after that because it keeps traffic flowing. People get all upset because somebody's going up the right-hand side. That's what you're supposed to do.
So, Lee, you're not wrong. I mean, look at this. Here's from the government of New Brunswick.
Okay.
Nice Canadian people. Here you go. Zipper merge is an important maneuver for motorists to understand. So what is a zipper merge, you ask? Watch and learn.
Thank you. Good.
The other lane now, right? Nope. Instead, do a zipper merge. Here's how you do it. Stay in your lane. Keep driving and then merge at the point of closure. Cars in the open lane should let the other lane in one for one, like a zipper.
Exactly.
It's faster, it's safer, and it's the right thing to do. So remember, when you see this sign, stay in your lane and get ready to zip it.
All right. So that is the correct
A lane
zipper
closure up ahead.
procedure. And invariably, there's road rage. There's people in the comments that were saying, well, when I see somebody coming up there, I block the lane so he can't get... Well, sorry.
Yeah, I've been that guy.
That's not smart.
Now, Lee...
Yes, sir. Yes, Kevin.
In Niagara,
yes,
we are very polite drivers. And
If
we
you say so.
almost always do that zipper merge sometimes, 400, 500 meters before that lane actually ends.
which you're not supposed to do.
But why not?
Because
Couldn't you apply the same theory just 400 meters prior? What would the difference be?
the difference is, the traffic specialist will tell you, the difference is you continue that lane on the left. Let's say the right lane is the one that's going to close.
Right.
The lane on the left is the one that is going to continue to get longer and longer and longer, and then it will eventually slow down and impede the traffic from going through much more than if you've got 2 full lanes and doing the zipper from there.
But all we're really doing is drawing a fictitious line 400 meters before and doing a zipper merge there. So how is it?
I understand the concept.
How is it any different?
But then you could have a zipper. You could have a non-zipper line for 2 kilometers,
well,
and you've got a 2 kilometer lane that's wide open on the right hand side.
Nobody's saying 2 kilometers. I'm saying 400 meters, and I'm also assuming
that
there's no on ramps or off ramps in there as well. Like this is the traffic on the highway. It's just 2 lanes. We're losing 1 lane. Why does it matter whether I zipper 200 meters before that lane ends, or if I zipper right at the end? And then what happens if people do it 200 meters before? Then you get the odd people that fly up the inside, and now that entire left lane, assuming the right lane's closed, has to stop to let that asshat into the lane.
But he's not an asshat. He's doing the right thing.
But why not? We all decided that the zipper is happening before your fictitious zipper line.
Only because it's not fictitious. Only because the traffic specialists, people go to school to learn this stuff.
I refuse to accept it.
The traffic, I understand that. Believe me, I understand your concern and the public confusion. However, I'm just going, every now and then I believe the people that are paid to learn how to do this stuff. Sometimes I actually believe scientists that come out with a scientific comment. Sometimes I believe mathematicians that do math. Sometimes I believe astronauts that actually go to space. A lot of people don't. But when the traffic specialist will tell me, after all of our studies, here's how traffic flow can be improved. And the thing we just saw about the whole how to use a zipper thing, if the experts are saying that, I got to buy it.
I know. I agree with the zipper. I just don't know why it couldn't happen 200 meters before.
Because then it's not a zipper. Now you need to. Now
it's still a zipper. You still do a zipper. You just
but now you've got 1 zipper up here and 1 zipper down here.
No.
Coats don't work that way.
Everybody starts coming in at the same time, and then we all flow.
No, doesn't work.
I don't want to get ahead of anybody. I don't need to get ahead of anybody.
I think the point here at the end of the day, when you look at this picture, is the fact that tolerance and patience are the watchwords of the day. Be you zippering early or zippering later, zipper with patience.
We got a bleeder.
All right. There is an event coming up that we want to highlight here, the Superheroes of Autism Talent Showcase is just around the corner. Event coordinator Jen Wodinsky is going to be joining us right about now. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
How are you?
Can you hear me? I'm good. And yourself?
I can hear you just fine. Thank you very much for your inquiry. This is the first time you and I have had a chance to chat. Talk to me about Jen Wodinsky. What is your association with this group?
So I created Superheroes of Autism back in 2014. And we worked with other people and did fundraisers to raise money for families to help them get into programs that they might not have been able to afford.
Right.
And then I wanted to take a different route, and I wanted to showcase more of our special needs community because we have a lot of talented kids and young adults and stuff. So I created the Talent Showcase to give them that platform.
Okay. What is it? Tell us what happens.
So the Talent Showcase, they get to come in, they walk the red carpet, they get photography done, they get their own VIP area with VIP thank you bags, and then they get to perform on stage. So we've had singers, dancers, comedians, musicians, we have speakers, and I also have vendors from those with in the disability community that they create art or they crochet or pottery, different things. They showcase their stuff and hopefully sell some items.
As I see on the poster, it's September 22nd, correct?
Yes.
And what the heck is the date today? The 18th?
Yeah, so you're looking at Sunday.
Today is?
Yeah, see, you're looking at Sunday.
So it's this coming Sunday. And where does this happen?
So this happens at Tapped Brewhouse at downtown on Queen Street in Niagara Falls.
Yeah. Okay. Ticket prices or anything like that?
Entry is free.
It's free?
Entry is 100% free, yes.
Wow. And yet this is this meant as just to actually be what it says, a showcase, or are you also attempting to make this a fundraiser?
It's more of a showcase. I want the day to be all about them. Mm-hmm. It's their day to shine and their day to show the world that they have talents and passions just like we do. I think everybody needs to see that and understand and give them the opportunity.
Autism is one of those topics that is largely discussed and yet also largely misunderstood in the general world that we live in. As a grandfather of a young boy that is on the spectrum, just touching on it, he's highly functional, etc. We've learned a lot over the last number of years. How is the autism community or the special needs community in Niagara reacting to families with children in special needs care and so? How is the situation these days?
My son's older, so I don't really get into a lot of things. I don't get to see as much anymore. Mm-hmm. But I find it's a lot more accepting. I find people are more understanding of the different levels of autism because it's such a wide spectrum, yes. Right? We will forever have those that don't understand or refuse to understand. But I find it's got a lot better since my son was younger.
Well, that's encouraging. It really is. Because there's such a lot that our special needs community has to offer, all across
100%, yes,
all across the board, and some of the talents and abilities that these people have, be they young or older, are off the charts spectacular.
Yeah, a couple of the people I have that have been performing with us for like the last 5 years, to watch them grow in their talent and learn new things is it warms my heart, and it just proves like why I do these things.
Yeah, well, good for you for putting the time and effort and passion into this. So it's Sunday the 22nd, Queen Street in Niagara Falls. What time do you get underway, Jen?
It starts at 12, so it runs 12 to 4.
Okay. That is,
and we'll have face painting there. We'll have games. It's a whole event.
Really nice family event. Awesome. And
yes.
People that attend might learn a little bit about how very versatile and talented this community is. We really appreciate you being here, Jen. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Superheroes of Autism, Niagara, noon to 4 this Sunday afternoon in downtown Niagara Falls on Queen Street. Thanks again, Jen Wadinsky. There are so many great volunteers like Jen.
We hope to see you there.
Okay, bye. Cheers. That put on these events all over Niagara, and that's kind of what makes Niagara special, as well as sometimes complex. We've got 12 municipalities, and then of course if you're talking politically, the region as a whole, but each and every one of these communities has their events and their organizations and their groups and causes, communities, neighborhoods, and when you think about it, it can almost blow your mind, the scope of needs and the scope of requirements. That same thing as needs, I realize that, but events and multi-layered, I guess that's what I'm looking for, multi-layered activities that there are in all of our communities, all of our 12 municipalities in the region of Niagara. And it only becomes greater. We meaning my wife and I, travel into Niagara Falls. Well, we go all over the region quite often, but we actually went down into the Avalon Theater and the casino to watch a show the other night. And it never ceases to amaze me how many people the region supports, be they locals or visitors. and the traffic, and this goes back to Kevin's discussion with me on the whole zipper thing, the construction zones. We've had motorcycle incidents off the charts this year, and I just can't say enough how much patience needs to be exercised in crisscrossing our region, because we have so many visitors on any given day or evening. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of vehicles heading into Niagara from God knows where. And I mean, the GTA and points east of that are, of course, the main origins of all the traffic that flows into Niagara. We have some still that come up from the United States as well, but there is such a stream every single day of traffic through Niagara, and the speeds that are traveled are sometimes a little bit off the charts as well. It gets so, Kevin, we talked about this earlier, it gets so sometimes on some days I get a feeling, and I've been driving a long time and I love to drive, but sometimes there are just days I would really rather not be on the road, you know, because if you're driving around, in your mind, I know what you're like me, in your mind you're saying, these people are nuts.
Yeah.
They're crazy. What is going on? They go flying by you on city streets, on highways, and I mean, I look down at my speedometer, I'm going 110 kilometers an hour, maybe 120 like people do on the highway, and there are people flying by me. Yeah. And I just...
And the number of accidents that I've seen in the last month alone involving bicycles and motorcycles.
And pedestrians, too.
Pedestrians, it's like...
Note to pedestrians.
Those
crosswalks are there for a reason. Please. Crosswalks are there for a reason. If you've got to walk an extra half block to cross at a light, do it, for heaven's sake. Yeah, I think I might have mentioned this to you a couple of weeks ago, and we just got back from Italy. In Italy, all over the entire country, if you are a pedestrian and you get hit and you're not in a crosswalk, your insurance is immediately null and void. The state will not help you. You have to pay you gotta follow the rules. You're in a crosswalk, all that's gone. The driver is liable, his insurance are liable, and all this other stuff. But, I mean, please, pedestrians, you can't have a bicycle in a pedestrian accident and the pedestrian win. Pedestrian loses every time. Even if you think you're in the right, you lose. Physically. That's just... it does truly, some days, it does make me fearful for me and everybody else that's out there, because I don't trust what's going on out there.
I hear you, Lee. Not to get away from that, but want to squeeze one more
please
story
do. I'd
in.
rather not.
Because this one here really cuts to the core of a community and a family that's part of our community that is being targeted for reasons we don't understand. And it began with the NRP investigating an arson case out in Port Dalhousie, and the NRP have now released suspect video. So I want to cover all that, but let you know that. Well, here, I'll let you take it from here, Lee, and then I'll interject when it's important.
Let me say one of the things that struck me about this story. First off, is all of the comments, all of the information was very general. They gave us the address, Lock Street in Lakeport, a business, a thing, a spot, and not until days later did somebody actually name the business that was a victim of arson. I don't get that. Why don't we just say that shawarma restaurant was a victim of arson right off the bat? Anyway, that's my just little commentary. Police attended the area Lock Street, Lakeport, in response to a fire. Well, it turns out that it was arson, and it was pretty detailed descriptions of what happened. There was a dark vehicle. Two unknown suspects approached the restaurant, set it on fire. There was somebody left behind in the vehicle, as far as I know. There was sort of like a getaway driver or whatever. So they were last seen running north on Lock Street, then proceeded to get into this black car. The vehicle continued southwest on Dalhousie Avenue, and off they go. And then there was a fairly detailed description of the people that were involved. Now, did those descriptions come from cameras or from
Yeah, they did.
onlookers?
So-
I thought they came from local, like CCTV.
I think this is yesterday. So yesterday, NRP released some video in relation to this case. So you can see there, the shawarma place is actually just out of the picture here.
Yeah, just out of camera range.
But that, I think, is the suspect car that was
Yeah.
moving. And here are the two individuals that they suspect.
Okay, you see them off in the top right corner of the video, but they're very nonchalant about it.
Yeah,
They're just taking an evening stroll. Now, there's nobody else on the street. So, again, what time of day was this? Time in the evening?
3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, okay, so that's why it's empty, because Port Dalhousie is never that empty.
All right, so people are. It's the Castillo shawarma.
Yeah,
So,
Castillo Shawarma.
Just so you know, Lee, for this program, I contacted Sadi, who runs the Castillo shawarma. And people identified that that he and his wife, a Syrian family that have arrived in Canada about
Right.
5 years ago and have opened this
Opened the
restaurant in
business,
Port Dalhousie, and they've been targeted before.
Okay.
And they don't understand why. And I had a good conversation with Sadi, and I also had a couple conversations with Sadi's brother. Sadi's brother's English is a little better and a little stronger than Sadi.
Okay.
We had a great conversation, but they were a little apprehensive about coming on the program. So I said, okay, we'll do it justice and try and share as much as we can.
So by being targeted before, the conclusion might be drawn that this is a crime against immigrants.
You don't want to conclude that,
But
everybody's asking the same question. And in the comments, it breaks my heart to see how many people said, I go there all the time, they're a lovely family. The food is terrific.
that's almost always the response to these things. The
Now there, did you see that video of them walking away?
yeah, but they're not.
That's a little bit of a different angle than I've seen before.
They're not hurrying.
No, definitely not. So that's the car. And this is 3:30 a.m. and the restaurant still hasn't opened. Castillo
course
Shawarma
not.
is closed as
Yeah.
they deal not only with the investigation but the cleanup and what have you. And
So are these people? But it. They
You know what,
don't.
Lee, we
but
all
what that doesn't look like, though, Kevin. It doesn't look like smash and grab violence.
no, it doesn't.
It looks like a very carefully orchestrated, planned maneuver. It's not like a bunch of hooligans throwing paint on your business or throwing a Molotov cocktail through your window or something that's like a meaningless walk-by piece of violence. That looks like something that's very, very well planned, at least in their own minds, well planned.
There, you can see the fire being lit in the background there.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, there you go. Now they're running away.
Oh, now they run. I guess. Why not?
So maybe that was them going to the fire, Lee. That's
It
probably
had
what
to
it
have
was.
been. It had to have been. Yeah. So that was just another angle
they
of them.
go.
Yeah.
That's them now
with
running
the
away.
can, with the gas can in his hand.
Freaking cowards.
Yeah. Yeah. So those casual strolls from both directions were them preparing to commit the crime,
Right. So.
and the run is obviously
Man.
after it.
And again, everybody just saying, and I talk to these people, they don't know why. You know what, Lee? We all come from somewhere. You know, unless you're Indigenous Canadians, we all
I
come
know.
from somewhere. And just because my family might have beat you here by a generation or two, doesn't make this any more my country than it is your country. And it
is,
really hurts me when I see our community.
I know. It's a complex and painful environment that exists pretty much around the planet, and all we can do is continue to be a part of stories like this so that we can put a point on the fact that it can and does happen here. We are not immune to whether it's hate or business crime or whatever it is. We're not immune to it. They walk among us. We are part and parcel of the community, and as you say, we all come from somewhere, and these are people that have put their hard-earned dollars and blood, sweat, and tears into opening a business, taking a risk to run a business, and of all businesses to run, there isn't one much riskier than opening a restaurant, let me tell you. And they are contributing to the economy of Niagara by putting their money, their energies their stress into running a business and supporting our economy, and for whatever reason, especially a third-party reason for no reason, to burn somebody's business down, it does happen here. And there shouldn't be any place for that to happen here, irrespective of your creed, color, religion, or political affiliation, as they say in constitutions around the world. We live in strange and dangerous and unsettling times. Let's try not to be a part of it here if we can help it. Kev, we've talked about some dark stuff, some fun stuff. It's all Niagara stuff, and it's all important. And I want to thank again Gales Gas Bars, Sandra's Home Healthcare, Verge Insurance Group, ACE Alignment, Equal Wellness Services for supporting this program. Also to Nick and the entire community of you contributors at Niagara 411 for being a part of this program. Kevin Jack, our executive producer and co-founder of WeeStreem, thanks. Always a pleasure working with you. My name's Lee Sterry, and we'll be back with episode 21 in a couple of weeks of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. To play us off the stage, we're going to hear a song called The Helm. And I love the name of this group. This group, you said, is performing tonight somewhere, Kev?
Oh, gosh, don't put me on the spot.
I'm sorry, man. You told me it just popped in.
You know what? It's fronted by Rita Visser, and you can find her all over Niagara.
Yeah, Rita and the Daydreamers and The Helm are going to play us off the stage. Enjoy your week, what's left of it, and have a nice weekend. See you in a couple of weeks. Cheers.
Shut this thing down. I need to stop you from coming around. You see, I come twice a month, get a slice or two. Oh, then you leave me like you left me, not trusting you. Oh, I'm a fool, it's true. I spent far too many hours and days and weeks and months and years waiting for you. I grabbed the helm, set myself down. Time I take control, turn this ship around. Silly sirens in my slipstream, seduce you now. Oh, they will tease you like a blindfolded. You'll just bow. Oh, it's true, they've hypnotized you. Oh, they've told your lies to no surprise. It's in her eyes. She's got you